Hey there, and welcome back. So, all this week and all this month, actually, we are talking about stress. And because stress is one of those offshoots of mindset that is part of that three-part pillar system or philosophy that I have with regards to my clients for their optimal health, nutrition, movement or exercise, and then mindset. And mindset can cover a lot of things, but specifically, all of August, we are talking about stress because stress is one of those things that ends up being overlooked, and we kind of just like, oh, that's just normal everyday life. Again, with many things that we don't understand or we don't really put the emphasis on stress as being as detrimental as it is. It can really make or break your health routine, your health consistency. If you are a person that eats really, really well and goes to the gym or works out or has joyful movement in your life, but is extremely, extremely stressed on many, many levels to the point where maybe you don't even realize the amount of stress that you have in your life, this can again make or break your health regime, and make you quite sick. Stress alone can cause a lot of inflammation in the body and can cause, as a result, aches and pains, digestive issues, and it can really get to a point where it can be quite hazardous to your health on a very cardiovascular scenario or situation, as well as, just many, many different manifestations, including cancer. And it can bring about a disease process, potential disease process, if you are predisposed to it genetically as well. So, like I said, if you happen to have diabetes that is running through rampantly through your family, and you have been very, very good with and watching what you eat, and and like a lifetime of this, and making sure that you are very healthy and moving all the time. Your body weight is a really, really good weight, but you happen to be a very excitable person or somebody that stresses a lot, or you've had a major issue in your life that has caused a lot of stress and continual stress as a result, um, it could potentially get to that point where you are expressing a disease or potentially a disease as a result, and it could just simply be from stress. So today I'm actually talking about like if stress can actually kill you. I kind of loosely elated to that a little bit, but stress can really cause a lot of issues in your life with regards to it. And this is why it's so very important that, and I find that we need to talk about, because it can be one of those underlying issues that can be make or break your health, like I said, um, or, bring you to a point where you are have to go through a disease process. Um, uh, from my perspective as a holistic nutritionist, we always look for that root cause. I mean, it can come down to, gut issues, issues within the mouth, not lifestyle issues, like not getting enough exercise or movement in your life, or something along the lines of stress, because I've had a lot of clients come to me and, working through functional nutrition and really trying to improve people's diets and, offering opportunities for recommendations of different supplements to help, alleviate whatever specific issues might be going on. But again, it comes down to that root cause of a lot of things. And stress is one of those biggies. And people sometimes they look at me and go, "What are you talking about?" Um, you know, I take all my supplements. I'm allergic to this, and I can't have that, and this is wrong with me. And a lot of these people that come to me, a lot of my clients that come to me, they have tried everything. They've gone to all the doctors. They've had all the tests. They are vegans, strict vegans. They take this top of the line supplements, natural supplements. They do all the right things, and yet they still have these issues. And a lot of times, more times than not, these people are very much, and I don't want to get it wrong because I'm never 100% sure, a little bit of dyslexia. Um, A-type personalities, I believe it is, that are very much um, very strict in their way of thinking, and very hyper, and very kind of like always like this all the time. And they're just like, they're worried about this, and they're upset, and they don't understand, and they don't have the answers, and they're just they can barely catch their breath. They're just so wound so tightly. This is stress. This can be very stressful. This type of personality can be very stressful on the body. Even though that they would say, no, I don't have any stress, but I just don't understand why things are not working properly for me. I'm taking all the right vitamins, and I'm eating all the right foods, and I just don't sleep, and I have this rash, and I'm allergic to this, and I and I and they're like this all the time. And this is that personality, that kind of overwhelmed, kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do, and I'm just not that this is wrong, but understanding that this kind of person, this kind of, without stepping back and taking a look at all the things. I've worn myself out here. I need a drink now. Stepping back and realizing that this is very hard on the body, because they are always in this heightened state of just like they can barely breathe, basically, because they're just so worried, and that's that internal stress. Okay, so getting back to what I was talking about originally, as a holistic nutritionist, we look for those underlying causes of disease and disease process. I have people that have come to me that are like that, and they leave thinking that I am kind of bonkers, and I have no clue about what I'm talking about. Because I know for a fact, because they have not come back to me since. Um, when I tell them that they need to breathe, that they need to relax. People like that actually don't like being told to relax. And unfortunately, this is where the issue comes into a lot of their own issues, because they're not willing to look at that third pillar. Like I said, strict vegan, works out every day, 3-4 times a day, all these different things, doing all the right things that they need to do. But when they don't take a look at that part of that third pillar, it can really be quite detrimental. And you see it, in their body language. You see it in the fact that they still have a lot of issues going on with their body. Their digestion is messed up. They still have a lot of skin problems. They, their hair is falling out. Hormones are just like all over the place. They're not able to get a handle on anything specifically. And it really can, a long-term situation, lead to some nasty issues. I mean, if your gut issues are not working properly, what's the next step? Where does it go from there? Well, you end up going towards perhaps um, a leaky gut situation, and a leaky gut situation leads to what? Well, it leads to all kinds of it could lead to all kinds of autoimmune issues, arthritis. Uh, Goodness, I haven't got those lists in front of me right now, but it can cause a lot of problems. Leaky brain, leaky lungs, leaky cardiovascular, leaky muscles, all these different things, all these manifestations of inflammation in the body, which are numerous, that could happen essentially from stress. So in a word, can stress kill you? Well, yes, that's the short version of that answer. But I'm going to go through a few things here. And, and just to understand that stress can really affect your health on so many different levels. And when you go to see your doctor and you go to see your naturopath and your nutritionist and all these wonderful people that are here to help you, understanding that if a doctor talks to you and says, decrease your stress, and you kind of roll your eyes, and the next person says, well, yeah, you got to lower your stress levels, and here are some tools to do that, and you kind of roll your eyes, and the next person says, well, yeah, you're doing everything right and everything else, but you have to breathe more. You can't just continually just ignore that, because it is something that definitely needs to be looked at. And when the body is in that constant fight or flight situation for years and years and years and years, and this is the type of personality that you are, then it can literally affect your health to the point where it will kill you. It's not the stress so much, but how you're dealing with it. And it's the dealing with it, the tools that you incorporate into your life that will help you manage stress over the long term. So let's see here. The stress hormone itself, cortisol, gets released, and it curbs the functions of non-essential systems in our body when the fight or flight scenario goes into effect. So what gets hampered a lot of the times when cortisol is up and running? Our digestive system and our immune system. But we don't stop eating. So we are still continually taking in our foods. Whether it's good food or bad food doesn't really matter at that point, because nothing's getting digested, nothing's getting assimilated. You're not taking in the nutrients that you need, and that food will sit and it will ferment. And when it ferments and causes a lot of bloating and gas and what is that word? I can't say it. Causes a lot of nastiness anyways. Putrefaction, a lot of toxins. That eats away at your intestinal membrane, which causes those holes. So that's your intestinal membrane. And normal things get through, whether you cannot see it anyways there. But with the toxins, you add toxins in your gut, because the food is sitting there putrefying and fermenting, it causes holes. So those toxins and actual pieces of food end up squeezing through those holes. I don't know if you can see that or not. And that ends up causing a lot of problems in the rest of the body. Lots of problems, lots of problems, lots of problems. And it can really, like I said, long-term have a lot of detrimental effect on the body. Let's see here. So, I mean, long-term activation of that flight or fight syndrome, again, causes the cortisol to flood into the bloodstream, disrupting important bodily functions. So over time, sufferers can endure from digestive problems, like I was talking about, weight gain, another one, and even heart disease as a result as well, too. So stress triggers unhealthy habits as well. So who out there is my stress eaters, my emotional eaters? Okay, these things too cause us a lot. Again, when we're stressed, when we're eating this extra food, which we think we're getting comfort from, it's not getting digested, it's not getting absorbed. And like I said, even if you were not eating chocolate cake, and you're eating other things because you're stressed out, it's not going to get assimilated into the body, and it's just going to go straight into fat. And again, too, that's one of those things that the body wants to hang on to in a fight or flight situation, because it needs that extra energy to run away from the saber-toothed tiger. So it just stores everything as fat because it really wants to, have that there for you when you need it. Stress can actually leave people feeling more towards anxiety and depression as well too, simply because, well, for a lot of different reasons. But again, a lot of our gut, if it's not working properly, that serotonin isn't being produced, and serotonin is our happy hormones. And so we don't get that gut brain connection. We don't get the production of the serotonin, which leaves our feelings kind of sad and mopey, which eventually can lead into an anxiety and depression as a result. um, there's evidence out there that the brain's neurotransmitters and hormones, which form part of the typical stress response, can become distorted in the face of traumatic events as well too. And this is a quote I'm saying from Dr. Atkinson, from the UK. I'm not quite sure where he's from, but can be really, because a lot of issues with regards to that. It causes people with PTSD to experience false alarms. It, as the amygdala, part of the brain that deals with fear, becomes hyperactive, resulting in panic episodes and may be extreme in nature. So this is looking at chronic stress again, and then topping that off with PTSD, which I think a lot of people suffer from and don't even realize it. Again, one of these people. And understanding that you're always in that panic kind of hyperactive, hyper-stimulated mode all the time. Ultimately, research has supported the manifestations of long-term stress can kill you, which is a little bit sad. But it is what it is, and it is something that we should be dealing with just as severely and just as much as the type of foods we eat, the amount of movement we gather in a day. Stress is the new smoking. They used to say sitting was the new smoking, but participation and people getting out there and doing that now, everything else, stress is the new smoking. And it is just as detrimental to your health as eating McDonald's all day long and sitting on your butt all day long. Now, with all that information, I don't want you to stress out about it. There are ways to be able to cope with it. There's ways of being able to grab the tools that you need and keep them close. And one of them is deep breathing exercises, stress relieving properties of, there's a lot of science behind it. I haven't got it in front of me, so I don't want to start spouting it off. But the thing is, deep breathing exercises stimulates that parasympathetic nervous system to release the anti-cortisol drugs, the hormones, to calm you down. It really does give you that opportunity to just come into that moment and just bring it all down. The more we do that, the more the body automatically goes to that response. It's just like the more stress we have in our lives, the more we stay in that stress response, the more we're always automatically going to that particular way of doing and thinking and being. When we incorporate very conscious responses and ways of dealing with stress, it's we stimulate new neural pathways to be manifested in our heads to, automatically go in that direction all the time. So the more that we stop and really use the tools that we have to bring ourselves down, to ground us, to release that stress consciously, the more we do that, the more our bodies will actually do that automatically. Do you understand what I'm saying with regards to that? It's making new neural pathways to help us deal automatically with the stress in our lives. I mean, more times than not, um, we do this. Sometimes people do that automatically without even thinking about it. It's an automatic response to something that's going on. Maybe they're just like, they're fed up, they're tired, this is a way of communicating to people that they just want to just like, really, come on, I'm done, situation. But sometimes that response is an automatic release of buildup of some kind. And we just go, trying to tell somebody like, hurry up, I'm really, this is too much. But it also really gives the body the opportunity to relax and release a little bit. It tends to build up from there too, but just coming to some, understanding and seeing your own reactions to a little bit of stress, baby stressful situations, can really actually offer you the opportunity to work on larger stressful situations too. Now, I'm not talking about PTSD. I'm not talking about major panic attacks. When you start getting into that realm of things, definitely seek out professional mental health professionals. Seek out Canadian Mental Health Association. See somebody that can really help you with that. Otherwise, you're going to get to a point where you are in a puddle on the floor. Again, speaking from experience, because if you have a tendency to swallow down your stress, always pushing it down to get on with life, because life is so much more important at this moment, and you're the type of person that doesn't look after yourself and looks after everybody else and has better things to do than, worrying about what's going on for you, and you pushing down and you pushing down and you pushing down, it's going to come up. It's going to come up like a volcano one day, and it's going to affect you on a very substantial way, either through your health or through a point where you are not going to be able to function properly. And you may end up losing a job because of it, or you may end up just losing a relationship over it, or not being able to function in life the way you want. So just be aware of it. It can be very, very, very impactful on your life if you don't deal with it. So it's not the stress itself, it's how you deal with it. And incorporating some strategies is going to be your savior. There's no magic pill for it. So that being said, all this month, I'm going to be talking about stress and talking about different ways that we can really help ourselves deal with stress. All this week I have, and well, it's going to be available the rest of the month as well too, but I have a little free booklet that you can grab. It is over on, well, it's all over the place right now, but it essentially is how to remove toxic people out of our lives right now. And it is something that, we all have a few toxic people in our life. Some of them we love dearly, some of them we don't. But we really have to, make some boundaries within our lives when it comes to toxic people. if we can't definitely get rid of them altogether, we can definitely figure out how to work some boundaries with them, because toxic people can be extremely stressful on the body, on the mental and physical and emotional body. And if we don't learn how to deal with them specifically, can really cause a lot of havoc, again, with our own health. And if you don't take care of your own health, nobody else will. Okay. The next thing I wanted you to know, that we have a 5-part series right now on stress less. It actually deals with habits, body, soul, and mindset. I'm just trying to think of the name. And it's, like I said, it's a 5-part video series that comes with guidebooks for each part of the series as well. And it is available for this month only, with regards to giving you the opportunity to deal with your stress, incorporate a lot of tools into your tool belt to be able to deal with stress, and come to a place in your life where you are managing your stress to not allow it to become detrimental to your health. So that actually is, like I said, it's a wonderful, wonderful package. It is only for $24.99, and it is something that is only going to be available in August, but something that definitely is imperative for everyone right now, because we are so stressed and nobody's breathing. So it's something that everybody needs. I will leave a link to that course in the comments. And if you have any questions for either one of those, please reach out. I am more than happy to discuss with you. And if you are conflicted about understanding how bad your stress might be, if you need some extra help or not, then definitely reach out to a social worker, a psychologist, a sociologist, somebody that can really help you take that to the next level. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.